mean, obviously, Cigna is a pure-play health insurer. And what that means is, in some markets, we operate as a life company. In some markets, we're a general company. But many of the products we offer, regardless of that, are what are considered GI or personal lines type products, so travel solutions, individual health solutions. So my answer is going to be biased based on the products we do rather than with a view on P&C or marine or other aspects. Clearly, technology is playing a massively disruptive role in personal line solutions, both in how people consume insurance, how they want to engage with insurers, and how they go about the process of purchasing and consuming those products. All of those trends are kind of coming together, and in many respects, consumers are moving far faster than regulation or insurers are able to keep up with them. And we see that playing out in a number of different ways in different markets, but consumers are really driving a change in how they want to buy and consume those products, and it's really driven by technology. And to me, that is the single biggest impact we see driving the future of personal lines in the region. Absolutely critical. I mean, it affects everything we do, both internally, but also how we engage with providers, so our physicians, our hospitals, our network, our consumers, and what we do internally to support both of those stakeholders. We've seen different providers approach it in different ways. You know, how digital plays out internally. Is it seen as a marketing initiative? Is it seen as a technology initiative? Or is it about the way you do business? Or is it a standalone business that you want to compete with your core businesses? Different providers have taken different approaches across the region with different results. At Cigna, we believe digital is about the way we do business and the way we aspire to do business. So it impacts every single aspect of what we do. And it's a responsibility for all of our leaders across the organization. There's no one single person you could point to and say, this is the person accountable for digital. It is all of our responsibility, and it's the way we aspire to do business. Predominantly in the area of distribution. So obviously that's the area that is most visible to customers and to the marketplace. And it's an area where customers are demanding different types of interaction. So we've seen the rise of aggregators and different kinds of comparison sites in different parts of the world, including in Asia. That's really driven a lot of innovation and investment into digital. Also, pressure on margins has driven more effective distribution, whereas traditional agency channels, for example, become less viable with some of the lower ticket, more consumer line-based products. So most of that investment has gone into the distribution of products, but that only really represents a fraction of what needs to be done, because beyond that, there's how consumers want to engage, whether that's through service or claims. And obviously, given that Cigna's a health insurer, we're not a one-and-done type of claim product, like a life insurer or a motor insurer. People claim all the time. They want to interact with you. There's a third party in the transaction, which is a hospital or a physician. So the engagement model is very different, much more intensive, and it makes the digital piece much more important for us in terms of engagement rather than just focusing on distribution. From Cigna's perspective, I think that the one I would call out first and foremost is medical inflation. Asia already has 2 of the 5 most expensive markets in the world for healthcare treatments. Both of those markets are experiencing double-digit medical inflation. That puts them on an unsustainable path in terms of costs for consumers, governments, employers, whoever's funding healthcare. It is a serious issue that requires fixing. So I think that is probably the most important trend as far as a health insurer is concerned. Another couple may be worth mentioning. There's a supply-demand issue in many of our markets. So increasingly people want access to quality healthcare, but the local system doesn't allow that, whether it's lack of physicians, lack of hospitals, lack of specialist providers. Even in developed markets like Hong Kong, there's less than 20 licensed psychiatrists, qualified licensed psychiatrists in this market. So there's a severe supply-demand issue in many of the markets, and that is something that is going to need to be addressed. And then probably the third thing would be, again, a demographic trend. So rising middle classes, the rise of wealth, changes in lifestyle, rise of chronic diseases, really putting pressure in terms of lifestyle disease management, how healthcare systems cope with that, how individuals cope with it, how employers manage it in terms of managing costs, productivity of their workforce.